Hello, 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 my beauties. You'll see me looking down over here because that's where the computer is. And because I can't see myself I'm using my rear camera, which I am so happy that the iPhone has such a good camera. So, how are you? I see Gigi in the chat already. Hey, Gigi, the Empress, how are you? I'm going to read one of her comments. Oh, I'm doing great. I am doing great. Let me put you up on screen, and I have to remember to talk to here. So you guys are stacked on 4 books: a book about Italy, Women Who Run with the Wolves, Essential England, and then the final thing that you're balancing on top of and you don't want to fall is the Starseed Tarot deck. So that's how you're located. How are you guys doing? And I think you're going to enjoy today because actually, and hi to the folks in the replay, I have to stay focused because we'll chat afterwards, you guys, but I'm just going to do little lead in, give maybe 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and then we're going to do a practice, okay? This way, the folks who come in later, we directly get to what they see the title is because they don't kind of have the fun of the conversational back and forth like you guys who are here live do, okay? Is that too much information? So, Gigi, I'm doing great. Who else is here right now? And the reason I'm giving a few minutes is because we are going to do a practice. And so I just want to give time for the folks who want to come in live. I believe it's about 11 o'clock because it's 4:30, a little past 4:30. So it's 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. Yeah, it's my dyslexia. I'm literally counting on my fingers. Who else is dyslexic? Am I the only one who is dyslexic on YouTube? My channel is not about dyslexia, right? There's probably a dyslexia channel. So how are you all doing? How was your weekend? Um, what things are going down in the nation? I have gotten myself down too many random rabbit holes you guys don't need to know about. Just online, stupid stuff, nothing really important. But yeah, who else is here? Say hi as you come in. Again, it's like we're in a room and you wouldn't just walk in and the kids would, some of the kids. They'd walk in, have headphones on, not look at you, not say anything, and just sit in the room. Okay, we're not doing that here. So please say hello, say hi, say namaste, say ashe, say something in your language. If you speak another language, just say hello. All right, and we are going to do a practice. Oh, hey, I see the numbers going up. So this is, welcome to my Sunday Live. I am still in the UK. I'm having some chai that I made from scratch. Well, not scratch, the spices, but I didn't break the cinnamon, with my own hands. And I did chop the fresh ginger because, of course, in England, it's kind of gray. And the park was jammed, you guys. I'll tell you guys where I am because I'm actually all my YouTube family, you guys, I trust you. It's just there really are just random people. So sometimes, I may not say things out on the interwebs, okay? But right now I am in Liverpool, home of the Beatles. And yes, they're still talking about that. So some cool things about that. I think their accent is called Scouse. Scouse, and it's a very thick accent. And I've joked with some people about it, and then I'm like, be careful, you don't want to offend people, right? But they know. So before I arrived in Liverpool, which is where I've been for most of the last lives, somebody else British said to me, "Oh, you're going to Liverpool? You're not going to understand them." And I'm like, what? So that's where I am. And I think well, I don't know. There's a lot of history. I was going to say historically, like a strong working class tradition, but I don't honestly know very much. And I'll say more at the end. I'll say more at the end for those who are hanging out with me live. But we are going to do a practice. So, hi, V. Hey, V, I'll put you up on screen. Okay, so I got my laptop here. Okay, because I'm old. I gotta have the laptop, and then I got. Now, if I had you, like, if I were using just the phone, then I'd have to bring you up right to my face to like. So we're not gonna do that, okay? So, hi V. Who else is here? I see the numbers. I see the numbers going up. I know you're here. I can see you. Okay, this is what we're gonna do today. Let me start talking about that. All right. Again, so the replay folks won't be like, well, I'm not there. This isn't live. What's she gonna do? All right, and I don't have my pen in my hair, in my afro. Okay. We're gonna do a wonderful intuitive practice, guys, that I think you are gonna enjoy. But first, actually, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna invite you to just close your eyes if you're in a safe place. And I may start my lives with this. This just felt like a really nice way to start. I have some affirmations specifically for the energy of this video and for some of you. I really believe that some of you need these affirmations. So I'm just going to read them and I'm going to leave a little space and you go ahead and repeat, okay? So just take a nice deep breath first. See if you can drop in, settle down into your body. Again, this can be very hard. Even some of you might not know what I'm talking about because we have so many distractions now. Even from when I was younger, and even when I was younger, folks would talk about, how much more distracting everything was. So imagine 100 years ago how just calm and centered and grounded those folks would be, okay? So see what you can do just to feel like you're letting go of the outside, letting go of your thoughts. If there's music playing or any distraction, see if you can feel like you're pulling your attention in and dropping in. So our first affirmation is, I am safe. I am safe. So go ahead and use the first person. Repeat that a couple times. I am safe. This is what came to me to share with you during a reading. Next one. I am protected and surrounded by divine light. So some of us today need some energetic protection. There might be some negativity around us, coming at us. And so again, let's repeat that. I am protected and surrounded by divine light. You could picture that maybe in like rainbow colors, or maybe as a really, really bright white light all around your body. Let's do one more time. I am protected and surrounded by divine light. And so it is. All right, we've got two more. Okay, yes, two more. Prosperity, it's a prosperity one, get ready. Prosperity flows freely to me and through me. Prosperity flows freely to me and through me. Okay, so you don't have to cling to anything. Money comes in, some of it goes out, some of it stays with you, so it flows to you and through you. Okay, last one. And then we'll get into our practice today. I manifest with grace and ease. I manifest with grace and ease. And so it is nice to, like, you could either put your hand at your heart chakra or even just tap right here at the sternum. Okay, when you do I, when you make an affirmation with I. Okay, let's do that last one again. All right. I manifest with grace and ease. And so it is. Beautiful. Hi, Donna. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I've got some water and I've got some homemade chai with decaf black tea. So this, you guys, is part of my series, Divine Feminine Life. And again, I always say, you guys know I'm like really honest. I'm like, TMI, too much information. So yeah, I'm not trying to like some of these like fake people online, you know, where they rent an apartment out and film it. And they're like, yeah, I manifested this multi-million dollar. It's like, it's a bunch of BS. So, but I am manifesting for the last few months what I envisioned very smoothly. And so Spirit is like, yeah, talk about that. And it's that flow, right? The divine feminine is very much about flow. And so this is the fourth of the steps that I did in my first video. And this fourth and final step to living a more divine femininely inspired life, nourished life, is intuition, right? So that's what we're going to do. So let's get ready to do an actual practice. And you guys, let me pull it up. I usually don't like to do stuff this way where I have to read, but I just kind of created this, and then I organized it out. So hold on here. Okay, so first we're going to settle the body. Then we're going to, and actually I'm going to give you a moment to do this. You have to think about a choice that you're currently facing. And I want you to choose something real, right? Not like, should I have vanilla ice cream or should I have like, I don't know, Rocky Road or whatever. Rocky Road marshmallow peanut butter. So choose, you're going to need something where you're trying to make a decision, okay? And that's how we're going to practice our intuition with that. So first we'll settle the body, then we're going to basically use and visualize two paths, okay? And we're going to like walk down one path, right? And then we'll come back, walk down the other path, and we're just going to see how we feel, right? And I'm going to lead you through it. So let me just go back to the screen where I can see you guys and see your questions. Not see you, but see your questions. Any questions before we start? And I'm going to try to make it 10 minutes or less. Okay? Okay, Donna says, okay, it's a rainy day and the kids and I are playing games. Oh, okay. Now that's cool. That is very cool. This is something, Donna, that I actually think you could teach your children. I think that would be really nice. I think it is very important to have our kids. Oh, wow, a bunch of crows are landing across the street. And other birds, actually, other birds, seagulls and pigeons. Oh my gosh, actually a lot of birds are suddenly coming and landing across the street on a building, and I have all the windows up, so it's just interesting. And then I literally see them flying back this way. It's interesting. I think I often connect birds very much with spirit, something about the fact, you know, that they fly, the freedom, and I think of the birds as being very sensitive, being in the air, very sensitive to vibrations and to energy. So it's just interesting. It's like a bunch of different birds all congregating. So first, let's just settle the body. Feel like your awareness just really drops back into your physical body. Soften your belly. Notice, so that means just notice if there's any tension. Sometimes we're holding our tummy in from our programming, you know, body programming. So just soften and release the belly, your shoulders, and your jaw. Okay. If you'd like to, you could even just take your fingers and kind of like rake up a little bit, like just sort of and down, or even going a little bit towards the back. Like some of you, if you suffer from TMJ, is it TMJ? You can actually, yeah, yeah. Learned it in massage school, but dyslexic, as you guys know. You can kind of massage right at the jawbone, actually could be, and up to even in front of the ear and under the cheekbones. And you could kind of press in there. Those muscles are pretty strong, right? Is it the masseter? It's one of the muscles, chewing muscles, very strong. And then just release down. Okay, so now bring to mind, as you settle more and more with my voice, bring to mind two possibilities that you have. And now these can be for anything at all. It could be a career option, study options, even like a vacation option. One place, Morocco, right? Or Kenya. But just two, just two options, two choices, all right? So I'm just going to give you a little moment to decide what you're going to work with, okay? So it's a decision you're facing. Okay, now you have them in mind. If you're, you can always do this again. This is a practice I'm just leading you through. Absolutely do it again. Okay, so decide which is option A. Okay, so right now, which one is option A? Is option A Morocco? Is option A moving to California? Okay, so what's option A? Is option A go check out Paris? Is option A online dating? Okay, what's option B? What's option B? So you really want to have clear in your mind option A, option B. Really important, okay? Okay. And now come back right into your body again. Feel the crown of your head and feel that you're connecting into your crown chakra. And as I'm doing this and I'm sending out to you, you might feel tingling up at the crown of your head, like you're wearing an energetic crown, 1,000-petal lotus, just shimmering. Its energy center at the top of your head. You're connecting into the divine, to your higher self, however you envision that, or to God, Great Spirit. You're opening that crown chakra. Okay. And you're standing where two paths separate. There's a left path and a right path. Just bring them to mind. Maybe if you want to see a screen, or are you able to just drop yourself in? Okay? So, what I mean by that is if you can, just be dropped into your body and, like, just as if you were looking with open eyes, there's a little path to the left and there's a path to the right. Just take a breath in. And now you're just going to orient yourself to that left path, option A. And just notice what it looks like. Is it a wide path? Is it narrow? Are there flowers? Is it a path? Is it inside? Does it have a floor? Or is it brick? Is it grass? Just see. And now you begin to take a step. You inhale, lifting your right foot, and you begin stepping, walking down the left path, representing option A. What are the colors? Are there colors? Those of you who don't visualize, don't worry about it. Maybe you're just thinking it, okay? Maybe you're just thinking it. Notice the colors. Are there any colors? You're on this first path. What kind of energy is there? Are there any sounds? And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to tune into your physical sensations, but just notice, maybe you see a symbol float up in front of you. Maybe you see a bird or some sort of machine or some sort of person or creature. Notice what's there. Good. Now I really want you to tune into your body. How does it feel as you're very slowly walking towards option A? Option A is, it's in the distance. And you're just walking. You can stop at any point. If something comes to you, maybe a little bird comes to you, maybe a butterfly goes by, like what is there? Maybe there's a scent even. Maybe there's a scent of cinnamon. It reminds you of something, okay? Just be very open. Now, again, what are the sensations in your body? How does your body feel as you're walking this path? And the goal is still a ways away. This option A is still a ways away. Does your body feel light or heavy? Does it feel difficult to walk or easy to walk? Is there anyone on the path with you? Is there a little dog with you? Is there your pet with you? Is there a pet from years ago with you? Where does this path seem to lead? And now I invite you can really see this option, but see it now as a symbol. See it as a abstract form. What does it look like? Almost like a mandala. What does it look like? They should have said one option would have been that there was a little fog there and the fog clears. You can try that. The fog clears and you see this almost like a gigantic door, but the door has a pattern. Maybe it has symbols. So it's just this large shape representing this option. And I'm going to actually have you reach your hand out and touch that symbol that represents option 1. Okay, try that. See if you can do that. Or for some of you, if it's very clear for you visually what option 1 is, what option A is, then maybe like you're seeing it almost like a movie. Feel like you touch the screen and just see, how does that feel? Does that give you a jolt of energy? How does it feel to literally touch that option? Notice that. Notice, 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 and release your hand. Good. All right. We're just going to literally spin you around. You spin around, and you're back right now to the starting point. You immediately return back to the starting point. Take a breath. If you'd like to, shake it out. You can kind of see your avatar shaking it out, or you could actually shake it out. Okay, you're back at the start of the V where the roads divide. Good. So do anything you need to clear. Okay. Maybe you just want to like rub your arms. Okay. Shake it out. Okay. Option 2. Option B. The road to the right. The path to the right. Breath in, exhale, orient yourself to that right path. And begin taking a step. Begin walking down this path. How does it feel different? Is the ground any different? Maybe it's uneven, or maybe it's smoother. Look around. What do you notice? Does anything kind of flit by? Is there maybe a sound? Maybe a song pops into your mind? Or the lyrics, just a few words, a word here or there. You're walking. You're just noticing. And this time it's just you know the drill. So you're walking. You're noticing colors, anything that grabs your attention. And now really focus on your body, please. How does your body feel? Does it feel light to walk down this path? Do you feel like sort of easy to walk, or do you feel heavy? Is there anything obstructing your movement? Or maybe are you able to walk freely? Okay, we're coming to that point again where the fog is going to clear on this particular goal. You can either see it like fog clearing, and either you just see an image of the goal, like say it was to be in Paris, so maybe you see the Eiffel Tower or whatever, or see it as a symbol. So I'm going to leave that open. Some of you might more readily just see like an abstract shape, like a big crystalline form, like sacred geometry. Or some of you might just have a picture in your mind of the goal. Okay, and now reach your hand out, lift your hand, and feel that you sort of touch into, just like in the movies where the person they kind of go through like a little film, right? So touch into this option. Notice how that feels. Do you feel tingling in your body when you do that? Do you feel very peaceful? Again, it really depends what the question is. Maybe you feel a sense of peace. Notice how you feel. Notice how you feel. Breathe. And now remove your hand and just bring your hand down. Deep breath in. Exhale. And feel like you're spun around, like you were on a little disc that could like spin you around. And you're right back at the center. We're going to inhale. I'm going to count to 5. We're going to open our eyes on the count of 5. 1, 2. Feel that you're moving back from the scene. 3, 4. Everything just sort of dissolves. 4, 5. Open your eyes. Back to the present, back to the room, back to the space you're in. Deep breath in. Bring your shoulders up to your ears, down and back. Stretch if you'd like to. Shake it out. In fact, let's rub the palms together. Okay, that was probably more than 10 minutes, but these sort of, it's like almost like a journey. Rub your head. You could rub your ears. Bring your hands down the midline of your body, down to the belly button, down to the tummy, down to your thighs, down to your knees, down your legs, and all the way down to your feet. Go ahead and squeeze each foot. Okay, get grounded again. Squeeze the sole of your foot, squeeze your toes. And I'm actually going to give a few moments. Those of you really doing this, and again, a lot of the folks on the replay, I'm going to give you a little bit of time just to write down anything while it's still fresh, okay? So we're just going to have like a little bit of quiet time. I'm actually going to mute myself. Note down anything that comes to your mind between option A and option B. You don't have to write out everything you saw. What I would do, given just this format, is write what jumps out at you most, and anything that seemed really important or unusual, okay? Let's take a minute to do this. You can also, if you have a lot to write, just stop the video if you're watching it in the replay. So I'm going to go on just for the folks who are live here. I would love for you to share. I hope some of you did it. Now I know, some of you might be in the middle of cooking or something like that. But if you did it, this practice, let me go ahead and share in the chat. All right. Let me just see what else I wrote down. So we visualize these two different paths. So yeah, here's some of the prompts that can work with this. Which path felt more alive, more aligned with your soul? That's the first question. Which path felt more alive, felt more aligned with your soul? But really it's, again, especially when we're talking about divine feminine and I've been talking about embodiment, what did you feel in your body? That's usually like the best way, not so much mental. Okay. Yeah. Did your body give you clues? Yeah. So clues like warmth, tightness, feeling of circulation, feeling of pleasure, um, and also the colors for those of you who are very visual, where the colors or sensations more vibrant on one side or the other. Okay. I do want to say also, guys, I am going to make Chat GPT quickly could like make a PDF from this practice for me from what I fed into it. And so I will have a PDF. You can look below, join my email list, my email newsletter, and I'll send it out. And it just guides you through this as well. Because for me, I'm one of those people, I definitely am good with hearing, but I also like to be able to read. Okay? So if you want to read what we did, then I'll put that link. Give me like an hour after the video ends. All right. So let me go back to you guys now. So yeah, how was it? How was that? Did any of you do it in real time with me? Hold on. You're back. Hopefully you didn't break anything when you fell. There we go. Okay, you're propped up again on 4 books and the Starseed Oracle deck. So let's see. Let me see your comments. And again, I want to welcome V. I want to welcome Gigi. I want to welcome Donna. I want to welcome Mel. And also no, whoops, something about share your referral link. No. So yeah, try this practice. I also want to just talk a little bit about intuition in general. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about intuition in general, because if you remember in my last video, I was talking about being embodied. And like I just said, for most women, it's a feeling, it's a sensation in the body that our intuition comes to us. And of course, you guys have heard of the different clairs, like clairsentience, clairaudience, right? Those always confuse me, to be really honest with you guys, because I'm like I said, I'm dyslexic, so I hear Claire and then I'm like, whoa, all these others. But I'll talk a little bit about that. So if this didn't work for you, it'll work for some people, but there are many other ways to tap into our intuition. Okay, and that is the theme of this video. Living a divine feminine life. You want to, as much as possible, be tapped into your intuition, because then you can be part of synchronicity. Synchronicity is when you need to know some information and you run into someone who has that answer. Okay, so it's very magical feeling, and it happens, the most way many of you have experienced it is you think of a person and then they call. That was a connection. There was an energetic connection, right? Your intuition was sharp. It was right on point. I guess that would be telepathy. So like I said, I have trouble with the labels for all the different ways we can be intuitive, but I will talk a little bit about them. Just, to kind of expand your awareness, because you probably have one way or another that you're most intuitive. In fact, that's my question. How are you most intuitive? How do you get intuitive hits or intuitive sparks knowing? Okay, let me know in the chat, like now or in comments later. And let me just check here. So yeah, living a divine feminine life. For me, so I'll share how my intuition works. In the past, and I've shared this before in some videos, but yeah, in the past, I've had experiences of clairaudience. I think that's what it's called when you audio, when you hear. I don't think that's my primary way, but one time when a family member was in danger, I heard their voice. It was very striking, and I think there were several reasons for that. So there's clairaudience. Clairsentience, I think, is just where you just know. For me, that's usually just how it works. I just have a sense of knowing. Like I just know that, the answer to that. So I think that's clairsentience. Correct me, guys, if that's not the right Claire. I also very much can feel that there's nothing called clairempathic, but it's like picking up on what other people's emotions are. That one can be really difficult. I think, in fact, in briefly, I think some people who we think are mentally ill in our society are actually have this ability where they're picking up, say they're in a room with 10 people, all right? They're picking up like from all 10 people. So all 10 people. One guy just had a fight with his wife, so he's there with his wife. The wife's angry, he's angry. They're picking that up. Somebody else was just had a miscarriage 2 weeks ago and they're really sad. So imagine if you're too open, right? And you're feeling the angry people and you're feeling angry, but then you're feeling like the sad woman who had the miscarriage and you're like, and then everybody else, that obviously could overwhelm your system, especially if you don't know, right? So I do think in Western society, some people that we think are mentally ill are in fact having these experiences, and they haven't had any training, or there's no one to kind of help them, like in other cultures where they really might bring them to the shaman or bring them to the healer and they'll kind of help sort them out. So you guys, let me know. I want to know what you think. The funny thing is there's never music out in the street, but now somebody is like right outside playing music. It's so funny. So let me see your comments. Yeah, do comment back, guys. Remember, I don't want to be just sitting in my room talking to myself. I mean, I could do that. I am doing that, but you're here. So let's see. Hey, Ashley. Hi, Ashley the Seeker. How are you? Gigi says, I did some, but mom duties called. It's still beneficial to stay calm and continue. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can come back later. Okay. So I think a lot of you just probably watched me talk with my eyes closed and didn't actually participate. Now, again, I know some of you are on the bus, on the subway, or driving. Two of you are with your kids. So I totally get that. But this is a process you can try. And I might probably edit the very front of the video and go right into it. And then you can come back and try that. All right. Mel, did you try it? Guys, hold on. I'm going to actually close a window. I'll be right back. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with you. And the way of feeling different sensations, where you feel the actual physical sensation. Sorry, guys, I keep looking there because that's where I see myself instead of just at the little black shape on the phone. So what some people do, I've heard, is they'll put a picture of a face like behind, right above where they're looking. So at least it feels like they're talking to somebody. Let's see. So for some of us, our intuition will be like, quote, a gut feeling. You'll feel something in your stomach, like butterflies, like they say. You'll feel different sensations. And so you want to get really sensitive to that so that you can know when your intuition is trying to give you some information. Okay. This is all about, so let's get to some more, not graphic, but some more like for real stuff. So with everything going on, and this is one of my themes, the more tuned in you can be, the better. You guys, this is so weird. Like, I've been here for 3 weeks. I've literally never heard a car with its stereo playing. I don't know if you guys can hear it, if you can hear like the bass. And then they cut it off, and they'll probably put it on again. So it's a pretty quiet neighborhood. So this is unusual. I really think there are so many energies. I know it's not always about us, but people were giving out energy, and then there are those who want to tap into a certain type of energy, or like literally want to disturb things, right? I'll give you a quick example. Sometimes just walking around, you'll see somebody go by on a motorcycle really fast and you can feel it. You're like, dude, it's almost always a dude. You're speeding, like, what are you doing? Or it's like a car and you're not on a raceway, right? But they're going really fast. So it's like for some people, there's like they need to get out their energy a certain way. And for me, something I've just always observed is loud music is almost a way for, especially in a public place, it's an attention seeking behavior. It's look at me, don't ignore me, I'm here, right? It's just interesting. So, you guys, comments. What did you think of the practice? Gigi, thank you for commenting. I totally get it. Yeah, claircognizance is the knowing, sentience is the feeling. Okay, yeah, right, cognizant. Like, right, I remember that Tom Cruise movie, which I really liked. Remember, you guys, it had these two sisters. They weren't bald, but they had really short hair. And they literally just floated in a tank. They were these two twins. It's not Total Recall. It was something Recall. What is that movie, you guys? I really liked it. I thought it was pretty good. And it was a futuristic time where they just could stop crime ahead of time. They had these two women. It's interesting, right? Women, divine feminine. Because fairy tales and old stories always kind of seep into movies. Often so it was two women, I believe. I don't think it was a brother sister. It was two women and they could see things before it would happen, but they literally kind of kept them enslaved. Like they floated and they were hooked up and they would see a crime, and that's how the society functioned. The crime would not happen because they'd stop it beforehand. Does anybody know what movie I'm talking about with Tom Cruise? And I just remember the scene where he's like, it's like a transparent screen and he's just moving things around on it, which we probably already have. So what movie is that? So claircognizance is knowing. Thank you, Gigi. Let me put that up for you guys. And sentience is feeling. Okay, not just human. Thank you for your grounding self-presence. I dropped into a gentle space. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So do try it though when you have a decision you have to make, especially if you're confused. Like, don't do it if you're pretty sure. I mean, you can, but I do find, sometimes I can get really, I like options. I was telling you guys, I'm like an INTJ. I'm not really sure. I'm one of those INTP. I don't know, but it's one of the ones that likes a lot of options. And so this is a good exercise. It's probably why this one came to my mind. Right. And I was like, okay, ChatGPT, help me write this up. And I told it different things. It's like, oh, okay, you could say this in your voice, Viv. And because I've trained it kind of on what my voice is. But this idea, this path idea and options really, resonates well for me. But typically with me, if it's something incoming that I should know, I'll just know. So it'll just be the claircognizance. Thank you, Gigi, for that. And thank you, Not Just Human. Appreciate your comment a lot. Oh, good. My mic does blow. Okay. Well, actually, they stopped as I started to kind of give them a little read about attention-seeking behavior. I gave my attention, right? Yeah. So, you guys, how are you doing? How was your week? How are you dealing with everything going on in the US, the political climate? What's the climate in your town? Yeah, Ashley the Seeker. Hey, how are you? How are you doing? And Not Just Human. I do like that name, Not Just Human. But human is so incredibly profound, right? And that I think that is probably what you're getting at is like human can, I think a lot of the powers that be right now want human to feel powerless, being human to feel, like we don't affect anything. Um, on the planet, there really are different stages of evolution. I do think there are different species on the planet, like different types of humans are on the planet that had different, in terms of star seed, like came from different places, different levels of evolution. Um, I think, yeah, it's pretty complex. I'm not going to try to explain a whole cosmology because I don't have a whole sense of a cosmology, but I think certainly compared to what the sort of like very scientifically minded, but who are like, oh, there's nothing else, they're wrong. Right? Science, somebody said, oh, mysticism is what science hasn't understood yet. Mm, yeah, very true. I mean, again, look at even me talking to you. I mean, you could be in Japan right now. I don't know where you are. As I'm saying, you could be in Japan. You could be in India. Uh, you could be in Germany. And you're watching me through this thing that's only this big, and you're watching me like in real time. That would have been magic 500 years ago. That would have been like their minds, they would have just been, that is witchcraft. That is some sort of witchcraft. That is something from the devil. Because they so when do people say that? When they have no frame or a weight under it, didn't happen kind of gradually, or where people could kind of soak it in. It just seems it's so far out of, there's another movie that comes to my mind when people, there's time traveling, and they're like ancient people, and they land in a highway. They literally get they just get dropped into a highway at night. And so cars are whizzing, and they're literally like, I mean, even without being from another time, if you were in the middle of a highway at night, you would freak out. And you're not in the car. So picture that. And they're just literally, though, like, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to move, because they're just like, I don't understand what these things are that are coming at me, right? It's not like a bear or a lion or something that they would have been maybe used to. So just to say that, what was I saying? It's all magic, and things are happening that we're not aware of yet. There are different levels of people. I think they come from different places. They definitely, almost every single religion does say that there are beings that are evil, um, that have what we would consider evil intent, or it could just be that they're not as much in touch with their like God nature, right? So it's almost like it's like a defect or something. So just saying, so right now, yeah, how are you guys doing with, are any of you making plans to do anything, shifting anything in your life? Are you trying to save more, for instance? This is sort of now the open part, I would say. So let me see your comments now. Let's see. Not Just Human says, just that deep pause paired with conscious breathing allowed me to connect to the inner knowing and answer. I'm from Brighton. Oh, I was very near Brighton. I was very, very near Brighton, Not Just Human. I didn't go to Brighton because I was afraid it was already too busy, too touristy. Tell me, Not Just Human, about Brighton. I mean, I know, tell me in terms of, is it super busy with tourists already? Especially if you live there. And I have to say, yes, Southern England, you guys, I'm going to make a separate video about what I liked about the UK and what I didn't like. And I kind of want to do a spoiler right now. But I'm going to do a video like that, and it'll be edited because I do have some imagery, so it's not good for live. I'll pop in some pictures. I was in London. I did see Big Ben. Um, I went to the King's Gallery, which used to be the Queen's Gallery. Saw some beautiful artwork. You guys know I'm an artist. Um, Saw some beautiful drawings. Um, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, beautiful, beautiful drawings from the Renaissance. I definitely enjoyed Southern England a lot. I like the weather, of course, right? So Southern England, the weather was already really nice. Where I am now in Liverpool, it's, yeah, I think I had a week that was really good, but it's just different. Yeah, it's more northern. I think Liverpool is a great town. So let's see what Not Just Human says, or anybody who's been to the UK. What did you enjoy? Not Just Human says, oh, absolutely. I feel connected to Pleiadian. Pleiadian starseed energy. Interesting. Mm-hmm. The Pleiades. Yes, I get that a lot. And Sirius. Pleiadian, and yeah. That's probably why you're tuning in. Mhm. So how is your all's mission to make a big question, right? I went from like big to mundane back to big. Are you feeling like you're on your path for your mission? Like why you're here? Gigi says, I think you're talking about mind. Yes! Gigi, you're amazing. See, we do that mind thing. Gigi and I do this. Okay. It is Minority Report. Yes. Which, honestly, even at the time, I'm like, this movie would have done better with a better title. Minority Report. You see what I'm saying? You don't get what it's about. You're like, Minority Report. It sounds political. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Give me some hearts here. Minority Report. I was like, that is just the worst name, and I don't remember how it even fit with the movie. Oh, I think the precogs. I think they were called precogs. I think it would happen if both of them saw it. Is that right? Who else? Not just Gigi. Let's all dig back into our memories. Is this the 90s? Am I going back too far for some of you? They were called precogs. And I think if both of them, and they were hooked up, if both of them flashed the same thing, then it was going to happen. If only one of them did, then maybe it didn't happen, right? Minority. So it was all, I don't know. Yes, I never understood, but I need to watch as an adult. You understood it, Gigi. I mean, it was pretty clear. I don't want to give a spoiler on it, but I actually really liked it as a movie. I liked the concepts. I mean, there were questions about it was almost about, is it ethical to arrest somebody when they haven't done the crime? Right? Because I think that they would be arrested beforehand. They would literally arrest them, and I think they would be punished, but they had done the crime. So yeah, I thought some of the ideas were very interesting. Okay. So who else is here? Any questions for me in terms of intuition? V, are you still here? V had said, hi, Coach Viv. Um, so I will put a PDF up if you, let me think how I'm going to do it. Because yeah, I think what I'll do is put a link where you can get the PDF to this practice. And ChatGPT put flowers on it for me. I may change it. Because I'm like, I don't know. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up. Where's my PDF? Hold on, guys. Okay, here. And I called it Two Paths. Yeah. Let me see. It's opening it. Intuition practice. No, I like how it created it. It created it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, if you'd like this little PDF, I will try to hook that up within an hour or so. So I did see a question. Let me get to a question here. Not just human. Are you in Liverpool now? Wow, going back to the Pleiadian topic. Yeah, no, I am. I am in Liverpool. I am in Liverpool. Going back to the Pleiadian topic, I feel like my purpose in this lifetime and timeline is to hold space for others and help them to heal. Yeah, no, that is very deep. Let me put that, I'll put that on the screen. Yeah, again. Hold space for others. And how do you do that? Do you do that just by, do you do that in your work, not just human? Or, are you a therapist? Or is it just, again, which for many of you star seeds, right? It's, interestingly enough, just the energy that you hold. And I don't know if we have it all the time. I mean, you do, but I think that it can be heightened sometimes. Like even when I was walking around, let me know, you guys, if this happens to you. Sometimes people come very close to you. That's a thing. That's one of those sort of odd signs that your energy is pretty good, right? People will kind of just sort of glomp around you, and you're like, there's so much space. Why are we all here? Why are we like this? I'm laughing because I'm just really thinking about it. When I was out for the walk, even though it was a little bit cold and it was definitely overcast, people were just, it was still a nice day. So people were out, But it just, yeah, I felt like people would come really close to then go by. They wouldn't just, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's good if people kind of, want to be close to you, but it can feel awkward. You're like, why are you so close to me? Let me know if this ever happens to you, because that is one of the things often that happens to spiritual people. Like, people want to kind of be physically near you because they're picking up on your energy. So yeah, not just human. Does that happen to you? And yeah, any other questions just about intuition in general? Actually, I have a question for you. I'll repeat this one. How do you feel intuition? What means does it come by? Um, do you have any of you ever experienced the clairaudience that I was talking about? That one, I have to say, that one was strange. Clairaudience, where you hear something, because, and again, think about it, back to mental illness, um, so-called, and obviously some people are mentally ill, but some people it's like a spiritual crisis. So imagine if you're hearing, again, not just one voice, right? Like for me, when it happened, like I said, I heard it was very strange. I heard very specific. The voice even had an accent. I'm from the Caribbean, and the voice, it was a Caribbean accent, and this is, like I said, this was so specific. It's not something one could imagine. And they were like calling for help, and I found out, you guys, it took about 5 days. I found out through my family grapevine that someone in the family had nearly died. It was a near drowning. I'll tell you the whole story. It was a near drowning. And what's interesting is I was working with water. I, at that time, was working. It was like a little summer job or something. I was working at, and I only did it like for a short time, but I was working as a housekeeper at a motel. I was horrible. I got better, but I was pretty bad, because I don't know if any of you have ever done that, like cleaning like a motel or hotel. You have to keep a pace. It's not just like, oh, I'm cleaning. I mean, there's a speed element, and I was horrible at that. But so I turned on water, and as I did that, and I'm cleaning a sink, I heard the voice with an accent calling for help. And I was like, whoa, because like I said, that is not usually how I get anything intuitive. And I turned the water off. I was like, I was like, and like I said, it took about 5 days for someone in my family. I think what happened is they told either me or they admitted it, because basically what had happened is the person almost died, and they didn't want to worry my mother. So my mom was very, very nervous person. She was a drinker. And so the other family member didn't really want to let her know that this younger relative nearly died, because she would have just freaked out. But it came out eventually, and I was like, whoa, that's what it was, because it was a near drowning, and that's what I heard, somebody calling for help. And it was when I turned on the water, like I said. But so I don't particularly like clairaudience, because you're suddenly hearing a voice, right? Back to the mental illness thing. You're suddenly hearing a voice that is not coming from the space around you. I think that's particularly disorienting. Um, yeah. So you guys, let me know. Share your, if you're comfortable. Just, you don't have to give every detail, but how do you get your intuition? How do you get intuitive hits? Do you get intuitive hits? And if not, and this is where I'm going to plug my services. Get ready. Um, I more working one-on-one. This is something we could work on, but what I'm doing with my coaching, I'm saying it is really for stress, right? For stress that has become toxic. Like you guys know, I dealt with toxic levels of stress. I have in the past, and just coming from the family I come from and the society, and then being an immigrant here, and being a black woman here, um, in academia, where we're more unusual. And those of you who do also follow, I don't know if the UK folks, if you know, but, and this is even pre current president, there's a lot of pressure on academics of color, like Indian or Black. It's just, but especially Black. There's not so many. And I want to say a year or two ago, like there were suicides. There have just been some really negative things. And so I was in academia years ago and ended up leaving. And so I have dealt with a lot of stress, toxic levels of stress. So I offer coaching combining mindfulness and meditative practices with healing acupressure points to help with the physical manifestations of the stress. If you're interested, my website is called In the Flow of Magic, and the link will be below this video in about an hour if it isn't already. Because many of you, and I'm going to give you, if you suffer from lupus, you suffer from high blood pressure, this is especially good for you. If the stress is starting to affect your physical health. Now, if it's more spiritual, absolutely. And I smile there because in some ways it's more fun. It's a different conversation. So if health isn't the issue, but you're wanting to manifest, it can definitely also, you can book a single session to talk about and have me work with you to manifest what it is you're wanting to manifest. So yeah, questions, comments? Let me just see if there's more. Palladian. Yeah, you guys get engaged. Tell me, how do you get intuitive hits? How do you get intuitive hits? I understand Gigi's with the kids, and Donna may not be able to respond, but there are others of you. We were talking about intuition. If you're just joining, I see the numbers going up again. I just did a practice. I will put a timestamp also. For those of you who are just coming in live, I'll put a timestamp below the video so you can see when we start the practice. It's 2 paths, and it is a practice to get really feedback from the future of potentials, right? Different potentials, potential A, potential B. All right, guys, if there are no questions, okay, here we are. Comments, all right. So, and not just human, I'll put your comment up. I'm a creative virtual assistant mainly for coaches as well as a yoga teacher. Oh, perfect. I feel like I might know your name. But it's often very hard for me, and I'm not the only one. I've seen some of the ladies that I watch. It's like, oh wait, are you, blah 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 6? It's like trying to remember the real name versus the screen name. But yeah, I'm studying Oh, that's wonderful. Why can't I say this word now? Natura. Okay, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but I think is that spelled right? Because I cannot pronounce this. Naturopathy. Maybe it is spelled right. I'm not. And herbal medicine, that's awesome. I've always been the empathetic healer. That's wonderful. So I think that naturopathy is not spelled correctly because I can't say it, and I know let me check. Let me check here. Naturopathy. Hold on. I have so many screens up, you guys. I have so many tabs. Hold on. Can you tell me what is? And you might be right. I mean, you're studying it. You are studying it, right? Naturopathic doctor. There, I said it. Naturopathic. I don't know why I'm having trouble with that word. Yeah, I apologize. That is spelled natural. I think I haven't seen it as is that the verb? I've seen it more like naturopathic doctor, and so I'm used to saying it that way, but naturopathy and herbal medicine, that's fantastic. There's so much healing needed now in so many different ways. So I'm going to make another series of videos. Now this ends the Living the Divine Feminine Life. I pretty much dived into the 4 different steps that I covered in the first video. The link will be below to that as well. And And I have an idea for a new series. And I will be kind of explaining the system of healing that I use, not just human and others. And it is based on the shiatsu five element theory, which does come from traditional Chinese medicine. I don't usually say what it's from. I'll just say the holistic system because I feel like there might be some bias against this for some people, which would be a shame. Um, I learned this five element theory when I was working as a massage therapist. And it, like I said, comes from traditional Chinese medicine, which is the same thing as when you go get acupuncture. And it's a very deep system. It's a beautiful system of these five changes. So I think I'm going to do a series where I really explain it. So when I say the work I do, folks, because I think everybody now is like, okay, I understand tapping, like I get it. I don't know, you do this. It's related to tapping, but it's more the origin source of what's called tapping now. Like tapping is more like this branded thing. But the five element theory of acupuncture and acupressure is a map of the energy flow in the body. And I have found it very accurate. It is the type of massage that I do. Um, I think it's much more effective than Western massage, which you guys have had mostly. It's like where they put oil on the body and they squeeze the muscles, and that's great. Shiatsu acupressure is, to me, much more profound. It can have a more specific um, influence because it can more directly affect the organs of the body. And so that's what, when I work with clients, I'm working with that five element system. So I'm going to make a series of videos about that to just explain it. Moths to the light. Yes. Yes, yes. So yeah. I think that's beautiful. It sounds like you know your gift. So you already know that in your energy, people, I mean, you guys, this is going to sound really weird. Really weird. There was a period of time when when I was teaching. It happened twice within, I want to say, like 2 weeks. People, I think in both cases it was young women, fainted around me. No, wait, there's more. Wait, let me think. I think two women fainted. I swear to God, one person, I don't remember their gender, had like a catatonic attack in my class. And I really was like, I don't know what the hell is going on. And it probably wasn't. I don't know. It was strange because as I'm thinking back, I wasn't particularly doing a lot of spiritual practice. But yeah, I'm pretty sure two different people fainted because even my colleagues were like, what is going on? The one I remember, I literally, because I'm usually really good under a duress situation. The student fainted, they're flat on the ground, like they're out, and I just like got them by the ankles, and I'm literally standing there just holding, because I'm like, yeah, I think, yeah, I gotta elevate their legs. So I'm like talking. I yell to the student, go get the department chair, go get a nurse. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna get the blood flow. And within like a minute, they're coming back. They're like, oh, what happened? But yeah, it it was weird. It was a weird time. I'd love to do some coaching with you. I'll be reaching out. Oh, awesome, awesome. Because sounds like you're very much in a learning phase. Um, in fact, not just human. And this is for everyone. I do have a stress quiz that's based on the five element theory, and I'll put the link below. You take the quiz. It kind of tells you where the imbalance is and which of the five elements, and then for a really nominal fee, it's not coaching, but I then just take you through like, okay, this is what's happening for you health wise with stress. So that I've set up where you can order that. Yeah. Hey, new person, the Yakira. I feel that seeing objects brings back thoughts of confirmation and heals me in a way. Me and mom have a weak relationship, but it's currently building. I've accepted my friend's family as my own. Okay. Oh, I feel like I dropped into something, Yakira. You sort of dropped me right into the middle of a story. Like I'm not clear on the beginning. I don't know the end, but I have some knowledge of the middle. Because, yeah, let me see. Okay, hold on. I missed one. Yakira says, through seeing elements of the past, this Friday went to a friend's family's house for the first time. His aunt had the same picture on the wall as my mom had in the early 2000s. Oh, yeah, I feel like that's really common. Depending on if you're like the same ethnic group, like, yeah, that's super common, right? Like if we were both Polish from a certain time period, we might have certain pictures on the wall. And definitely like in the Black community, there I definitely noticed that there'd be certain images that were like standard. So yeah. That definitely happens. But was it intuitive where you saw it beforehand, Yakira? Okay, and so I'm just reading this one. Here, if I go like that, you only see the top of my head. So let me sit up straight. They're seeing elements of the past. Aunt had the same picture as your mom. Yeah, that's really common. I feel that seeing objects brings back thoughts of confirmation and heals me in a way. Me and my mom have a weak relationship, but it's currently building. Okay. Okay, no, that's good. It sounds like I did that as well. I had a dear friend, dear friend, who passed away. My best female friend had passed years ago, and then my best friend who was male, who I think was my, someone told me that, but it was like my twin flame. We were so close. We were just like, he had a headache, I'd get a headache, like that, like strangely close. Um, and so what was I going to say with that? The female friend, her family kind of took me in because my family was so chaotic. Yakira, my family was so chaotic that often the really good friends, they would, who had more healthy families. Now, turns out her family wasn't perfect. There were some things going on. But this dear friend came from a huge family. And so the family just was like, oh, okay, what's another person? There's like 8 of us. Let's just add Viv, right? Um, yeah. So families like that are really wonderful. Parents and families like that are lovely. Her mother would just, because again, it was like having an army, it was feeding the army. She'd just have the food on the stove, right? Like they would all have dinner together at times, but the food, there would just be so much food because she's like, I just have so many kids. There needs to be food. So I just remember visiting them and like, there's just always food. She goes, yeah, there's always like, it's not that my family, we didn't have food, but there wouldn't be out on the stove for like anybody in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Do you guys know what I'm saying? Is that weird? So it was that type of family that my dear friend, mom would just have pots of like a meat stew and some rice or potatoes. It would just be out and they're like, yeah, because we're going to come and go. And we bring our friends and the neighbor kid come over. He's hungry or his mom doesn't cook till 7 or something. So yeah, that does, Yakira, you brought me back some memories when you said that with your friend's family. So guys, any other questions though about intuition, building it? And again, this is so you can create the life you want. That's why I'm talking about it. I'm not just talking about it just to have a topic to talk about. I am talking about it because I feel that given the times we're in, where, as I said, there are so many different types of people. There are people with real malintent, which they've always been. Um, Having your intuition be sharp and listening to your intuition. I really want to stress to all of you, not just human, Yakira, V, Gigi, Mel, if you're still here, begin to train your intuition. Begin to train your inner knowing. That is what society is trying to separate us from, and it's trying to artificially uh, like realign us. I also am going to be making a video about, and again, part of this, talking about the system that I use for healing and use just for balance in difficult times, the 5 element system. Um, it's very much about being in balance with the natural world and everything in our world right now. We got AI already online when even the men, it's mostly men, and the women who did work on it are literally warning we need guardrails on this. So when some people who invented something are trying to warn the world and the world is just going ahead anyway, like, oh yeah, now we have integrated AI. Did you want that? Did anybody ask for integrated AI? Now AI is already in everything, and yet they're the real hardcore early people who built the AI systems are like, we you need to control this. They know how dangerous it is. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is the only thing you have, your own AI, is your intuition. Your own AI is your intuition. Okay. Are you with me on that? Yakira, I'm going to read what she wrote. Yes, it's like the universe is bringing you another form of love. It's yes, yes. In terms of the family, I think you're saying, yeah. It's like the universe is bringing you another form of love. Yeah. It's funny because I was watching on Stephanie Perry's channel. Some of you watch her, some of you don't. Um, and her guest was saying, oh, you can't replace family. And you could tell this was a painful thing for her. She talked about kind of how she does try, but she's like, it's just not replaceable. And I kind of disagree. I think, because she was saying that she is estranged from her mom. And because of that, the rest of her family, because truly she's like, yeah, if mom cuts you off or whatever, then that access to the rest of the family can be a little sketchy, right? And I've definitely seen that to be true. If it's a major person in the family, if you don't talk to them, you might be isolated. But I do think that if you're a sensitive person, if you're a star seed and you don't quite match with your family, or if your family does have some toxic elements, abusive, whether it's sexual abuse, emotional abuse, extreme, narcissism, I believe you can rebuild a supportive, tight knit group. You have to do it consciously because it's possible to just rebuild the toxic family. And I think many people do that. Okay. So again, we want our intuition strong. The main things you guys know I recommend for getting your intuition strong is you have to have a meditation practice, because meditation is what gives you the base. It gives you like the ground. And so the best way to think of it is almost, oh my gosh, you guys, this bird was just literally like hovering. I don't know if it was a hummingbird, but it didn't just fly by the window. It literally like was like, okay, yeah, I'm here. um, that was kind of wild. So you can recreate a family-like structure with consciousness. Meditation gives you a base. Maybe think of it, meditation almost like a clear lake, and there's going to be waves, but because you know what the lake looks like when it's clear, you also can see the waves and you don't get caught up in the waves. Does that make sense? So for many, many, many of you, I really recommend upping your meditation practice in the times we live in. Okay, last comments. Gigi says, I'm with you, Viv. And Sierra L. Sierra, that is the name. Oh, okay. Great question, Sierra. Really great question. Okay, so Sierra, were you here when we did the practice? Go back and watch, and I will put a timestamp. I promise the minute I stop being live, the first thing I'll do is find the timestamp. I just led a practice where we did this like two paths. You have option A and option B, so some decision you need to make, right, where you're confused, where you're just not clear. And we literally just did an intuitive practice, like a guided meditation where you explored option A and you explored option B. But like I said, is to start meditating, and I mean mindfulness meditation, which is quiet, just quiet meditation, because it's that quiet. And somebody else said this to me. They're like, intuition. Somebody else was explaining to me how they saw intuition, and they were like a teacher as well. And they said, to hear intuition, you've got to be quiet enough. So think of it. All of you are intuitive. All of you are intuitive. But there's too much going on in the mind. And I'm saying for myself as well, a lot of times there's too many thoughts. There's too many distractions. There's YouTube. There's Instagram. There's TikTok. Oh my God, there's TikTok. Oh, and they did a reel and they did a short. And so it's like there's garbage in our brains. And so there's a little intuition is like quiet. It's like beep, beep, beep. You won't notice that if there's like a disco, going on in your brain. Somebody just mentioned to me they used to go to a disco back in the day. That's why disco is on my mind. So Sierra, I most recommend learning how to sit quietly and just do mindfulness meditation where you're just aware of your breath, you're aware of your thoughts, is like the key way because it's the base. And then, of course, there's, I mean, you can go to the library and get different books. Oh, train your intuition, do it this way, do this, do this. But those won't work. And that's why I think some people don't like my channel because I don't make these hyperbolic promises. Those won't work unless the person already has enough concentration or quiet of mind, right? Because some people do, and so they can hear the intuition. It's like we're all getting intuitive hits, but if there's too much noise, we can't hear it. Okay, so that's my answer to that question for sure. Oh, disco, and do you like that? The disco in my brain. I know, you can picture the disco ball, right? You know, back in the day, and it's shooting off all the little, like, you know, lights and Saturday Night Fever. Way back, way back, way back. Disco in my brain. Yes. Okay, so Sierra says, yes, she just joined, and I'll absolutely go back and watch. Thank you. No, absolutely. Like I said, we need it for our protection. I am saying intuition. I should even title this Intuition is Our Protection. Again, I don't want to make any false promises. It's not that nothing bad happens. What you have to think about is, you know, at a certain point, we leave this body behind, we leave this life behind. So life still happens. You know, you might still like break a wrist or, you know, have a car accident or something. But with our intuition, if we're listening, because sometimes these things like I just mentioned happen because we weren't aware. Our intuition might have tried to warn us. Again, quick example, Gigi's heard this a million times. I had a yoga studio in New York City during 9/11. And I want to say two of my students, two of them, I later found out could have been killed in the World Trade Center attacks. One of them, I want to get this right, one of them literally stopped to smoke a cigarette before going into work and was not in the building because of that, right? Saw it, was down there, but wasn't in the building. And another woman, both were female, another woman said to me, Viv, either it happened to them or they knew somebody, got fired the week before. The week before the World Trade Center collapsed, they got fired. And the business even said to them, I don't know, I think that's intuitive. Like something was working in her favor. And they're like, oh, just take your stuff now. Don't come back. Like they were worried about security, you know, and her coming in angry, I guess, or something. So they're just like, yeah, take whatever, but you won't be able to come back in. For that reason, she was not in the building when it collapsed. Okay, so I'm just saying these are dangerous times. There's a lot of uncertainty. Again, it's not 100% guarantee, but wouldn't you rather your intuition be here rather than like non-existent here, right? Okay, so I think it's something that's worth training. Um, and it can also help with your manifestation. And as I said, I can also coach around manifestation and something you're trying to bring to life. I'm very good at that as well. The reason you guys, you hear me talking more about the health stuff is I think that, again, now with the sort of economic, we won't even talk about that are man-made, the economic woes, people are more interested in things that they feel they have to solve. That's why you see me more emphasizing also health, because I think health is something that people will always invest in. I think things that are a little more spiritual, sometimes folks may decide to hold off, okay? But I'm able to work with you on both. I absolutely am an excellent manifester. Um, Certainly compared to the average person, and I have been for a lot of my life, been able to really manifest. And as I mentioned in a previous video, I often can manifest with, many people focus on getting the money to get what they want. I can typically manifest the thing that I want and bypass even the money. And the woman who wrote The Secret answered, somebody asked her something like that, and she goes, if you can manifest without the money, then just go do what works for you. If you want a new sofa, new living room, and you could try to manifest the money, but she's like, the money kind of isn't sexy. It's not the thing you ultimately want. So she's like, if you find you can manifest the thing, that's better. So I'm good at that. I think I could help you with that if you are something you want to manifest, you know? Sierra, you're welcome. R&B says, oh man, I'm late. Hi, everyone. Yeah, you are late. Let me just see. It's 6. I have been live for about just coming up an hour and a half. Let me, I can't check something because I'm supposed to get a call soon. But R&B, hey, I was just wrapping up the video. We did an intuitive practice, and I also offered a PDF. Sorry, I'm looking down there because typically, I'll show you guys, typically this is what I'm, when I'm recording and it's a little fuzzy, I'm using my laptop. And so I'm used to looking at myself as I talk, which at least makes more sense than, again, looking at the back of my phone, right? Where I just see the little black and the little circles. And so that's why, since my laptop is there, I'm like, keep looking down for that. But yeah, I would love to work with you. Again, you could take the free stress quiz where I help you figure out what system is imbalanced in the 5 element theory. And then again, literally for 25 bucks, I will talk with you for half hour about what's going on with your health and how I could help you and what the imbalance is and explain it to you because some of it's a little bit hard to understand. And I'll put that link below as well. But R&B, if you want to do the intuition practice that I just led, I will put the timestamp in a couple minutes because, yeah, I am going to close the stream. So thank you guys so much because I've been talking for an hour and a half. And then I think a friend is going to call me. She's very chatty, and I'm very chatty. When I chat with her, we're like, I got to save my voice. I've got to save some of it for her. She's also a master manifester, and she is an astrology expert. So we talk about doing something together and presenting something together, but she's wonderful. She's working in Chicago, in inner city Chicago, and doing great work, but she's actually an astrology expert. And so very intuitive, and she's just manifested. She's also a master manifester. And we talk about that. So maybe you guys will meet her at some point. Maybe we'll do something together, combining like the chakras and the mindfulness with the astrology. She does a specific, like more ancient astrology. I forgot what it's called. I think it starts with an H. I don't know because I'm not an astrologer. Oh, final thing, you guys, consider Sierra R&B. A quick way to have more contact with me more directly is to become a channel member. It's brand new. I had it years ago and I got like to a good number of people, but then I got overwhelmed. I'm doing it differently this time. It's just through YouTube. Before I had the channel membership in 2 places. So that's why I got stressed out. So please consider supporting the channel. Sierra, Yakira, Gigi is already a member, not just human. And what it is, you get several, the main perks are at the beginning of the month, and this was excellent. I just did a reading. If you click the join button right now, you'll see that I want to say maybe it's a 40-minute reading of the energy of the month. The energy was very much divine feminine. It was the Empress was the lead card, and then it's a you choose collective 1, 2, or 3, and how that energy of the Empress is going to play out this month. Okay? I really feel like I gave some wonderful intuitive information. Each reading made sense. One of them, there was going to be a little difficulty. Potentially, I won't say which one it is, potentially relating to working with others, seem more work related. But again, the energy of this month of May was related to the Empress in Tarot. So that's really beautiful. And then again, there were 3 choices. So do join and you'll get that. Every month there'll be some sort of intuitive offering early in the month. And then there's a live more than this, because it's a small group, I will do it as Zoom where you can come on camera, you can talk to me. I'm not just seeing text and I don't know who you are kind of thing. You could ask me about chakras, you could ask about energy healing, you can, pick my brain. And that is the third week or the fourth week of the month is the live. And then there might be random, like little short videos, updates from me, and at the top level, you do get also like art printables. You get a discount, like really steep discount. Trying to think, there are other perks. If you click the join button, it's not going to make you join right then, but you can read about the different tiers, okay? I would love to get up to 30 members by the end of May. That's very ambitious. I would love to get up to 30 members supporting the channel. And it's okay if you can't join right now. What you can do before I close is just give the video a thumbs up. Please, please, please. Yep, do that right now. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm also trying to hit, I think it would be 30,000. I have been stuck at 29,000, like 700 now. So I want to get, if you have a girlfriend or a guy who's into divine feminine and likes this stuff, the wellness and the woo, definitely send them my channel. Please, please, please. I want to get to 30,000. I don't have a goal for the 30,000. Like when? Maybe I should say by August. Anyway, thank you for your support if you have already subscribed. Much love and blessings. Sending you energy right now. Seeing what I see is a circle of people. You're all around the world. You could be in Naples. You could be in Naples, Florida. You could be in Naples, Italy. I love that. Somebody is in Naples, Florida or Naples, Italy. You could be in Vienna. You could be in Dallas. You could be in San Francisco. May you have a beautiful and blessed week. Sending you love, light, awakening the divine within. Much love. Bye-bye.